Warning. Listening to this show may result in increased levels of inspiration, motivation, and innovation. Side effects can include the immediate urge to take massive action to build a better business and life for yourself and others. You've been warned. Welcome to Influencers Radio with your host, Jack Mize.
And welcome back to another episode of Influencers Radio. Well, today my guest is Felicia Roberts, and she is on a mission to help Black women reconnect with their feminine essence and manifest the opulent life they truly desire. She is the founder of Beauji Brown Girl, an online platform created to empower Black women to prioritize self-care and embrace a life of everyday luxury. Launching in the spring of 2023, Beauji Brown Girl will boast shopping, services, and a sisterhood of support for women who choose to indulge in what makes them look good, feel good, and bring them joy. A certified self-care coach, Felicia hopes to inspire more Black women to put themselves first in a culture that demands they constantly focus on others. Felicia, welcome to Influencers Radio.
Thank you, Jack. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me today.
Well, I'm glad to talk to you because you do something that a lot of people, don't like to say out loud.
Yes.
But there's a wise person that once said that the best way to take care of the ones you love is to take care of yourself first. And you are certainly passionate about helping women take care of themselves. So I'd like to start off by asking you, what fuels that passion and led you to do what you do?
Yes. My passion is fueled by my own life. I am a Black woman who grew up in a culture and a society where so much pressure was just put on me to succeed. And I think a lot of Black women, especially in my generation, felt that same pressure. You know, you go to school, you graduate, you go to college, you get your master's degree, you get your doctorate degree, you do this, you do that, you work your way up to become the CEO of the company. And it's just so much pressure on Black women to just do, accomplish, achieve, succeed. And even in my own life, I graduated from Spelman College, which is one of the number one college for African American women in the country. I went on to obtain my doctorate degree in pharmacy and became a pharmacist. And on paper, and to all of my family and friends and everyone, I was just so great and doing this and that. And then I became a mom, and now I have a set of twins, and I'm taking care of them. And I just got to a place where I was just getting burnt out and just felt like my time and my life was just not my own, that so much of my time was devoted to work, to my kids, to family, that I didn't even have time for myself anymore. And I was actually losing the very essence of what I thought made Felicia, Felicia. And I just got to a point where I said, you know what, I have to get back to me, get back to doing things that bring me joy, that makes me happy. And so I just really just started going on this journey of self-care. And when I just started like looking online and just researching and just trying to learn more about it and even posting questions in different like women groups I'm a part of on Facebook, I saw one that there's just a growing interest of Black women who are in the same boat as I am. They are successful, they are doing things, but they are tired and burnt out. And they just want some time to themselves to do things that make them happy and give them life. But they feel that it's so many challenges around doing that. And I also discovered as I looked online that this trend called the soft life movement, and it's all about Black women just living a softer life and just rejecting all this hard work and struggle in favor of a life of just comfort and ease and balance. But it's portrayed a lot as you see pictures and videos of Black women online, and they're shipping champagne and they're taking trips to Dubai, and some of it seems a unattainable to the average woman. And I thought that this could hinder a lot of Black women who feel like they're at a point where they want to get back to being themselves and want to take time and do things for themselves. But when they see these images and they see these videos, they may feel like I can't achieve this. I don't have the time. I don't have the money to do this. And so I became passionate about starting Beauji Brown Girl because I wanted to show it in the light and represent this whole movement in a way that is attainable for every Black woman, regardless of your age, your status, or your income. And so that's what fuels my passions because I want to get every Black woman to a point where they feel comfortable and unapologetic in being themselves and taking time to do things for themselves.
Well, you said a lot, and I got to say, just your background, it takes a remarkable amount of work ethic to achieve the
Hmm.
things you achieved. And I think when,
Hmm.
people work that hard, they probably think, well, wait a minute, what am I doing all this for? Where's the reward? Um,
Hmm.
and it takes courage to step back and say, it's time to reward myself. And when you
Yes.
mentioned about how the images of the luxury, the trips and the sipping champagne, I think there might be a little guilt element in there, because I think some people make the mistake of confusing luxury with laziness. And you certainly can't be lazy to achieve that type of luxury, right?
Yes, absolutely. There is most definitely this stigma around self care as being a selfish act. And that's why a lot of people, neglect this me time because they feel guilty about it. They feel it's selfish. And especially for Black women, where we have been cultured into this strong, independent Black woman narrative, where we're expected to play this superwoman role and be the do it all and be everything to everybody. And society, forces us to constantly focus on others instead of ourselves. So we feel guilty sometimes just to do things for ourselves. I know me personally, just even being a mom with kids, sometimes I even feel guilty for just taking a nap because I felt like I could have taken that time. I could have been folding clothes or washing dishes or, you know, preparing, food for the week or, something like that. So there is this sense of guilt that a lot of women feel when it comes to self care, and especially Black women, because we have just been conditioned to our identity. Has been tied into how much we can compromise and sacrifice ourselves for others. And when we speak about luxury and the equation to laziness, um, that is also there as well. A lot of people view this soft light movement that a lot of Black women are posting about online is, oh, now Black women, we spent so much time, wanting to work and be it all and strong independent woman, and now we just want to be lazy and not work and do anything. And that's absolutely not true. Luxury has nothing to do with money. I tell people luxury is a mindset, not a price tag. And so luxury is what it's feeling yourself and indulging in beautiful things and beautiful experiences. So whatever that is for you, that is luxury. Just even setting the time to focus on yourself is a luxury in itself. So those are the types of things that I want to kind of clarify and shed light on and bring a new perspective to with Bougie Brown Girl.
Well, I think that's the one thing that you're really good at is being able to separate that and change the mindset. Probably with a lot of women there's a difference between self-indulgence and recharging your batteries so you can
Yes.
go after it again. And that's kind of what I equate what you're doing and talking about is rather than self-indulgence or pampering yourself, it's recharging, right? So you can be the best you can be. So I'd like to get into that and talk about what exactly is part of a self-care. What is a self-care a plan that once someone accepts that, look, this isn't just me selfishly thinking about me. I'm also, recharging for the ones I love and the people that depend on me. So what does a self-care plan look like?
Yes, yes. So before we even get into what a self-care plan is, we first have to understand what is self-care. And so self-care, and it's all about this plan is a set of daily activities that improve our inner and outer well-being. Okay. And following a self care plan, it just allows us to take care of our holistic wellness, our mental, our emotional, and our physical health. And it's just very important that we take time out each day to nourish every part of ourselves. And this will help us to live healthier, happier, and more fulfilling lives. And that's why having a self-care plan is vitally important. And again, I can't stress, especially for our Black women who have just been conditioned to, you know, anti-self-care. um, but that's essentially, what a self-care plan is. It's about being intentional, about setting aside time each day to do something that fills your cup, that nourishes you, that makes you feel good.
So that could be something different for everyone, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone's self-care plan will be different. It's very individualized because what fuels one person to bring one person joy may not do it for the next. And so that's why it's important to have or create your own self care plan and not just go by what you may see on TikTok and Instagram, because that's what fuels those people. But it may look different in your world. And having your own plan just allows you to take inventory of what makes you feel good, what fuels you up, and you're more likely to stick with it if you're doing something, that you love and you enjoy.
That seems to be the one thing with this, the world of social media that we live in, that people seem to set the bar based on what they see. And I can see, comparing, what others are doing versus what you need to do. How does someone kind of uh, cut through that noise and take the inventory of what it is that they truly need versus what they see others doing?
Yes, yes. So I have a 5-step plan to get started with creating your own self care plan, a 5-step process, I should say. And actually, what you mentioned is actually the first step in the process. So you first want to take a look at your current habits. When you're creating a self plan, you want to observe where you are now, take an honest inventory of both your positive and negative coping strategies that you currently use to deal with life's demands. And by doing this helps you to identify any harmful habits you may have, as well as help you identify things you're already doing that is good for your own self care.
So that's really, I guess, the first part is making it unique to you, right?
Yes, yes.
To separating that, and so that like you talked about, that looks different to everyone. Can you give an example of what some something like that might be?
Yes. So when you're looking at your current habits, how you're coping with life's demands, do you deal with stress by overeating or by drinking? Um, do you allow a lot of like negative self-talk to consume you and discourage you from doing certain things? So those type of habits that you want to look at and see what it is that you're doing. Those are some of the negative habits that you may be currently engaging in that is good to take inventory of, so you know where to get started, you know what to focus on when you're creating your plan.
Well, it sounds like a example of that is when you're talking about feeling guilty about taking a nap. With
Exactly.
that no, maybe it's get rid of that guilt of taking a nap and take that nap and knowing that it's going to
Yes.
refresh you for the day, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly. The next step in the process, after you have taken a look at your current habits and you know where you are now, then you want to identify what are your self-care needs. What are the things that you value most in your day-to-day life? And you want to make sure that you consider your physical, mental, and emotional needs. So what kind of things do you need to help fill your physical needs, mental, and emotional? And when you're doing this, and it's a good practice to write it all down, like create a chart and write it all down. It'll help you discover like what needs you're already meeting, as well as see which needs you are neglecting. So you may find that, well, I'm doing a lot for my physical needs, but I'm really neglecting a lot of my emotional needs at the same time. So when you do this, it helps you to just give your overall picture. All these things are leading up to see, okay, what areas do I need to focus on? Where am I at? Where am I trying to be? And by taking this inventory and writing out, okay, what fuels me? What do I like, and breaking it down in physical, mental, and emotional needs, because those are the three core aspects of a good self-care plan. One that's going to strengthen your physical, mental, and emotional needs. Then you're setting yourself up for the creation of a good plan that you'll be able to practice and actually see some good results from.
Yeah, that's the one thing I think a lot of people, they do that even if they know kind of what those needs, maybe they push them over into the want category and
Yes.
neglect them and ignore themselves in doing that. And I imagine that's probably a tough um, something that's tough to overcome to see that in a different light. Is that something that you can help with?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And it all just starts with mindset. And that's one of the things that I talk about and deal with most is a mindset. Mindset is key to a good self-care plan. It's just and living this type of life that a lot of Black women desiring. You just have to have the mindset that I deserve this. I'm worthy of it. It's not selfish of me to focus on myself or take time for myself. Um, it's not wrong for me to set boundaries. I'm not a bad person because I say no. So just things like that. So once we get to work on our mindset, that allows us to kind of start overcoming a lot of these obstacles and challenges we have around, prioritizing our self-care.
Yeah, I would imagine once someone does that and they see that improvement,
Mhm.
probably one of the benefits is that positivity expands out into other areas. Would that be?
Yes, 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 absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I teach is that when you start to do these things and you see these positive results, I'm a strong believer in the power of manifestation, and energy, positive things in that life and all the things you want will just start flowing naturally to you. When you're showing up as a better person, you're more rested, you're more energized, you're more just more, you would start seeing that those things you want would just start naturally flowing to you.
Um, so I'm trying to think of where we are in the five steps. I know we had the first step, that take an inventory, and then we
Yes.
went to the second step. Which step are we at now?
Yes, we're at step number 3
Okay.
now. So the third, yes. So after you step number, now I'll recap. We first want to take a look at our current habits. Then we want to identify our self-care needs in terms of our physical, mental, and emotional needs. Step 3 is we want to determine practices that will support those needs. So those needs that we just identified in step number 2, we want to determine practices that we can do that will support them. So you want to ask yourself questions like, what activities bring me joy? What helps me feel energized? What helps me feel fulfilled? And then you just want to start writing down those activities. They may be activities you currently do, maybe some activities you've always wanted to do, or maybe some activities that you may have read online or seen that you might want to try. Like one of the something I was introduced to recently was the idea of float therapy. I had never heard of it, but there's these float clinics all over where you can just go and just submerge yourself in a pool of water and just float around in the most relaxing and serene environment for 60, 90, 120 minutes, however. And it just relaxes you. It just, oh my God, puts you in just such a great state of relaxation and well-being. So just, and if that's something you need, because that's a area that what I really can need a lot of self-care is because I deal a lot with stress and anxiety. So something like float therapy would be very beneficial for me in helping to reduce those symptoms. And so you want to just start just kind of write down activities that you think would support those needs that you identified.
What sounds to me like that step three is where some of that feeling of self indulgence might creep in,
Yeah,
right?
yes,
How do you shake
yes.
that off?
Well, we want women to indulge in themselves, and we don't want it to be a bad word or thought of in a negative light. You know, you owe it to yourself to indulge in yourself. You spend so much time focusing on others and doing caring for others. You owe it to yourself to care for yourself. Is not a selfish act, and it's something that everyone needs to do. It should be a part of your daily lifestyle. And that's the good thing and the purpose of a self-care plan. Remember, I say it's a set of daily activities that you do. So once you start doing these things daily, then it doesn't seem so much of as an indulgence. Like we live in a time right now where we work so hard and then we reward ourselves with a vacation, or we reward ourselves with a gift or something like that. And I'm a proponent that rest and enjoyment should be a practice, not a reward. We shouldn't
Ah,
have to live our lives rewarding ourselves with rest. Rest should be something that we're doing every day. So rest and enjoyment is not a reward. It should be a practice.
yeah, because it's fuel. You don't
Yes,
reward your car
absolutely.
with gas. You need it to
Exactly.
keep going, right?
It absolutely, absolutely. So again, that's why I say the whole premise of Bougie Brown Girl is to just kind of change, some of these stigmas and just kind of start shifting perspectives of how we view things, especially for Black women. I really want us to help just kind of reinventory and change how we see ourselves and the way in which we choose to live.
Yeah. Well, everything you've gone through makes complete sense, and it does change the framing from being kind of a self indulgent, self absorbed to really a health maintenance. It's a necessity that a lot of people are
Yes,
neglecting.
yes. And so then our next step number 4 in this process of getting started with the self care plan, is that you want to fit those activities you just came up with in step number 3, you want to fit them into your schedule. And this is the kicker because everyone is busy, 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 and no one has time to add anything else onto their already hectic schedule. And so this part of the plan or process, just really teaches you how you can incorporate self-care practices into your daily life, how you can take time every single day to do something for you. But you want to make sure that you start small. Okay. Any drastic changes are going to make you feel overwhelmed and cause you to give up. And we see this every year when we start the year and make these New Year's resolutions that we're going to join the gym and lose weight, right? We say, I'm going to join the gym in January 1st. I'm going to start going in the gym and working out 4 times a week and this and that. And I'm going to change my eating habits. I'm going to no longer eat salt and sugar and this and that. And we just try to implement too many changes at once. We get overwhelmed. And by week 2 or 3, it's already done. And it's like, okay, maybe next year. So the key with self-care is that you want to make sure that you start small. Just only add like 1 or 2 activities into your daily routine each week. And then just and as you master those, start to incorporate more. And you want to make sure that you start with the ones that you value most and then start working your way down. And I even have a method that I call the 413 method. when it comes to making time for self-care activities. And if you're a believer in Christ, we know that the Bible tells us in Philippians 4:13 that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And this is a scripture that I lean on heavily in times where I'm feeling weak or defeated or feel like, that I can't do things. I have to remind myself that I've been given the power and I've been given the strength to do all things that I want to do. So with 413, it's simply finding 13 minutes, taking 13 minutes 4 times a day to do something for you. And this can be very simple. This could be something as when you wake up in the morning, spend the first 13 minutes just meditating. And then maybe while you're driving to work, spend 13 minutes of that time listening to an inspirational podcast or inspirational music. While you're at work, take 13 minutes of your lunch break and read a book or walk around the parking lot. And then at night before you go to bed, just spend 13 minutes writing in a journal, writing what went good for the day. What are you grateful for? Those are just examples of how you can just take 13 minutes 4 times a day. You're not carving out any extra time. You're already in these places, in these environments, but just taking just a little of that time to incorporate simple things, and that is less than an hour a day. And if you do that, you see, wow, I have taken literally less than an hour a day and have incorporated, found time for myself 4 times throughout the day to keep myself going, to fuel myself, to keep me from becoming stressed and overwhelmed. And so that's one of my methods that I like to teach up when people are struggling with finding time to fit these self-care practices into their schedule.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things that you do. You make it's simple, because a lot of things
Hmm.
you have to make
Hmm.
these elaborate changes
Right,
to your
right.
life, and 13 minutes to just reflect on you, not worry about
Yes,
something else or worry about what others or worry about what's happening at work, but just 13 minutes to reflect on you. It's not a lot to ask, and I'm sure
right.
that makes a big impact.
Yes, and it's absolutely doable. My whole goal is to let women know that it's absolutely doable to have this type of lifestyle and maintain it.
Yeah, well, that's certainly something that can be maintained. I think, because it's not, you're not changing your schedule. You're just carving out a few minutes at different times of the day.
Yes, yes. And step number 5 is just removing to get started. You want to remove any barriers that may prevent you from carrying out this self-care plan. And that can be anything from letting go of those bad habits that we were talking about earlier, negative thinking, self-destructive coping mechanisms, anything that gets in the way of you carrying out your self-care plan. You want to get rid of it, remove them because they're going to keep you from making the progress that you want to make. And also, lastly, don't be afraid to ask for help. Share your self care plan with a network of supporting people around you because this can help you overcome obstacles more easily. And I'll give myself an example. I was at one point really struggling day to day with work and caring for my kids as a single mom and was just so overwhelmed and so burned out. But my mother actually stays with me to help me with my kids. And because, we're groomed into this be it all, do it all, strong Black woman narrative, I was just doing everything. And I finally had to break down and just asked my mom, like, "Mom, can you help me? Like when I get home with the kids from work and school every day, can you have their dinner ready for them?" Because that was a huge thing for me. I was driving home from work, have to immediately go get the kids, come home, and just don't even have time to sit down and decompress because I have to immediately get started with cooking dinner and this and that. And so I asked her, could she help me by just having dinner ready um, when we get home? And so she agreed. And that has just made me feel so much better when I get home. I'm able to just kind of come home and just decompress for a while and not just go from one stressful environment at work to a stressful environment at home. I'm just going nonstop. So that's what I mean when I say ask for help, share your self care plan with those around you, your support system. Let people know how important this is to you and what you want to do and see how they can help you. And that will be key for you to really fully execute your plan.
Well, I'll tell you, yeah, that's pretty enlightening that there's more strength in asking than it is to doing it
Yes,
yourself.
yes.
Um, well, and I have I want to put a spotlight on the order of those four and fives is really I can see where psychologically, four is adding, and
Hmm.
then five is removing, and that seems to work so well for just so many things like dieting. It's so much easier to say no. Instead of stop doing something, just start doing
Hmm.
this one thing, and then I can imagine that taking that 13 minutes to start reflecting on yourself probably sets a foundation for getting rid of some of those negative thoughts and activities.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You're absolutely correct. Hmm.
Well, I'll tell you, it is it's the self-care plan is not just remarkable in the steps, but the remarkable in the simplicity. And I think that's the real
Yes.
value that you bring to this is the simplicity that truly is something that anyone can do. They may not do it and they don't have to do it at the same scale as anyone else. They can do it with what fits them. And
Right.
so I think a lot of people would like to find out how they can get deeper into that. And that's why I want to bring up your launch of the up and coming launch of BougiBrownGirl.com.
Yes.
So if you wouldn't mind, can you kind of go over what that's going to look like and what folks have to look forward to with that?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited about this launch of Bougie Brown Girl. Um, and a lot of people wonder where the name Bougie comes from because it's spelled Beauji, Bougie Brown Girl. And I call it that because this lifestyle, this movement that I'm promoting of Black women just kind of taking a step from just being solely identified by our strength and work ethic, to just really living opulent life and focusing on and prioritizing self care. A lot of people, when they see women living a kind of lifestyle and they see it online, they come, oh, they're so bougie, they're so bougie. But I really feel that taking the time to pour into yourself and indulge in beautiful things and beautiful experiences is such a beautiful thing. And so I don't want to call these women, I don't want us to be referred to as bougie in the normal sense of how it's been portrayed, but bougie because it's a very beautiful thing. And so that's where Bougie Brown Girl comes from. And this platform will offer tools and resources and a sisterhood of support for all Black women who want to embark on this journey, again, of prioritizing self-care and just manifesting that life of opulence that they desire without shame or guilt. Because again, as we spoke earlier, and we mentioned earlier, a lot of people, they don't want to say it. It's taboo, or it's like, ooh, you want to live this type of lifestyle. You want to be lazy or this and that, or you want to be, just self-indulgent. I want to create a space for those women who want to live this lifestyle and in a safe environment and just learn how they can do it. How can I start to incorporate self-care practices? Where can I want a new skincare routine? How can I find products that I can use? So this platform would be used just for that. Again, offering a tremendous amount of tools and resources and that sisterhood, that community of women that's going to be there with them to help support them along this journey. And one of the unique things about the platform is that we're really going to tap into, the power of conversation. We don't want to get these conversations going and have more of these conversations like you and I are having today, so we can really start changing the perception of, how Black women have been cultured into to living and just being identified. Again, is how much we're able to produce and just having our value just tied into what we do and how hard we work, and just really getting back to who we are, at the core. I want Bougie Brown Girl to inspire Black women to, reclaim their identities and their identity of who they are at the core, and not who they are in terms of degrees or profession or work titles. And we want them to connect with their divine feminine energy. Just kind of, loosening some of the expectations that we have on ourselves, opening ourselves up for more help so that we can, lessen our burdens and then just kind of walk more in our feminine energy and just allow things to flow naturally in tandem with the ambitions that we have without us just having to work so hard for them. And then just to seek out that life of opulence that we want, again, unapologetically, without guilt or shame, and knowing that we deserve them. And to just not to just fight so much. It's all this talk. You hear a lot about the strong black woman. We're fighting for this, fighting for that. What we believe at Beauji Brown Girl, we like to say, we're not fighting for power. We're indulging in luxury. And that is not, and all that means is that we're operating in now. We're realizing that we no longer have to fight. We don't have to keep working on accomplishing. We are already worthy. We're already here. We're already deserving of these things. And we just want to live in the moment and just make time to enjoy what we have already accomplished and just celebrate ourselves in the now instead of always focusing on what's the next goal I can achieve, what's the next degree I can get, what's the next promotion I can get, just indulge in ourselves, celebrate ourselves, and honor ourselves from where we are now because we worked so hard to get here.
Yeah, well, I think one of the most powerful things that you're talking about with that is that community because it's so powerful to know you're not alone, to know that there's other
Yes.
people that are thinking the same thing as you, and to know that they always say what is it, delay of gratification, but you keep doing it, and one day you're going to look around and think, well, gosh, time's up. And
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be able to spread that out and do it on a daily basis, and even get
Yes.
bigger is you know, like you said, it shouldn't be a reward. It should just be
Yes.
a practice, a part of
Yes.
enjoying life. Um,
Yes. Absolutely. And we want women to enjoy ourselves. And one of the biggest features of the platform is going to be our Brown Girl Boutique. And this is going to be an online marketplace that's going to be filled with beauty and fashion and wellness products that women can shop because, we want to take the time. Women, we love to shop. And so it's going to be our online marketplace, a store on our website, and it's going to feature different brands from other Black women-owned businesses that support Black women on their self-care journey, and it's just going to be a place where these women can shop and find all kind of great products and even services that can just help them to do the fine things to help them look good, feel good, and just fill them up because we deserve. We work hard. We know we deserve to take a little of our money and spend it on ourselves.
well, you're certainly passionate about this, and just and that passion, uh, I'm sure, is infectious. Once people realize that there's others out there that feel the same way, and are willing to talk about it and willing to say it out
Yes.
loud. And
Yes.
so I want to thank you, Felicia, for coming on today and and
Oh,
and 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 sharing that and saying it out loud. What I think a lot of
yes.
people would, they not only want to hear, but they want to say themselves, and giving them the platform to be able to do that.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me today. I've enjoyed this.
Well, I'll tell you, I have to ask you, how can people follow along, keep up with the launch of BougiBrownGirl.com? And I'm sure they can follow you on social media, so they know when everything goes live, and can see what's in store for them.
Yes, absolutely. They can go onto the website www.bougiebrownGirl.com, and that's bougie Beauji browngirl.com, and they can fill up a form on the list to subscribe to our mailing list. That way, you can get notified of the progress that we're making and get notified when we're ready to launch everything. And then you can follow us online, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, everything at Beauji Brown Girl.
All right. Fantastic. Felicia, again, thank you so much for coming on today. Folks, there you have it. Definitely check out. This is going to be, something that's going to be life-changing for a lot of folks. And Felicia certainly is passionate about what she's doing and who she's helping. So we'll have those links right there on the show post. And until next time on Influencers Radio, remember, you are the only real game changer.
You've been listening to Influencers Radio. To get all past shows and updates on future shows, visit influencersradio.com today.